Today we're talking about why the INFJ keeps his distance, and there are two ways to do this. You can do this in a healthy way and you can do it in an unhealthy way. And if we're being honest, most of us have done it or are still doing the unhealthy way, which means because I as an INFJ don't want to be confronted with people who want something from me and I don't want to give it to them, or because I don't want to be in a position where I have to make people uncomfortable or reject them, I go back into my shell. This is something so many INFJs have experienced. I have experienced this, and it feels like there is no other way around. The one thing we always try to do is to make ourselves less attractive. We make ourselves more boring, or we just go out of our way not to see those people so they sort of forget us. But of course that's the unhealthy way, because that means that you are making compromises on who you are and how you feel just to avoid those uncomfortable situations. But what is the alternative? Are you supposed to then get into these situations and every single time reject people, feel horrible about it, then make people uncomfortable, get in a position where you feel you're obligated? Like, how often has it happened to you that you say, oh, okay, I was too nice to that person and now I sort of owe them to be their friend? So best is not to even start that conversation, because people in the end are going to want my attention, because let's face it, we as INFJs are really good at making people feel seen. And once people experience that, it's like they latch onto that. And we're so afraid of that because it's so uncomfortable if you feel like, I don't have the energy for this, I don't even want this. So again, I'm either not going to talk to them to begin with, or I'm going to avoid them. And it seems like we only have those two options. I either stay in this little box, make myself small so people just forget about me, hopefully, or I go and be myself and then have to actually play by those rules and feel either uncomfortable or just be of service to everybody until the point of depletion. Of course, there's a third way, you know how we do it here, and we're going to talk about it today. It's going to change your life. Remember, if you want some quick tips to start that self-actualization project of yours, this INFJ Epic Life on your terms, then download the free poster, The 5 Pillars to an INFJ Epic Life. And if you're ready for something even more, remember, at the end of October, we're launching our next bootcamp. So get on the waiting list, be the first to know when we launch so you get access to the early bird price. You have nothing to lose. Just sign up, know that you're there, get the information, and then be ready to start that epic thing in your life. So, but let's get back to today's topic. What is the third way of going about this? I'll tell you the result, and then I'm going to tell you how you're going to get there. The result is that you go through life, you don't make yourself small. You are as interesting as you normally are. You don't repress any of that. Yes, people would want more from you. Yes, people will want your attention, will want to be connected to you, will want to be close to you, will feel rejected at some point. All of these things will still be happening, but firstly, it's not going to happen to such an extent. And second of all, you're not going to feel it. Do you know how often you make people uncomfortable with things you're not aware of? That you just, for example, are happy. That makes people uncomfortable. We're not aware of everything. You know, we always think we INFJs know everything, see everything, but it's always from a perspective of what we put our attention towards. Very often, just being ourselves makes people uncomfortable, but we don't feel it. And it's not on us to feel it. These are other people's emotions. Think about how often you have made yourself small because you took responsibility for how other people will feel once you do what's good for you. This is, of course, easier said than done, because every single time you reject somebody or you make somebody interested in you as a friend or something romantic or a coworker or just somebody who believes in them, and then you just drop them because you're off to the next thing, you're going to feel horrible. So why would you do that? On top of that, we very often tell ourselves, no, I'm not going to show them what I'm about. I'm going to pull back so I understand them better. That gives me leverage. But that always comes from a perspective of I have leverage within their world. The alternative is that I start building myself up. I start creating my life starting with me, and everybody who wants to be part of that can. But I'm not hiding anymore. If me being myself makes people want to be close to me, then they have to play by my rules, which are I'm doing my own thing, I'm happy for what I'm doing, I'm helping people with my boundaries intact, and people can can like me for me liking myself. But I'm not out there trying to save others in order to feel good about myself, in order to have purpose, in order to feel like, okay, if I help them, they will like me. That is one of the main things we as INFJs feel. As in, if I stop caring about how other people feel, nobody's going to like me. People are going to abandon me. I'm going to be all alone. And then what for? Why am I even doing this? Like, people will not want to spend time with me. But that is not the case. The people that you have surrounded yourself when you were in that old mindset, which is I have to give in order for other people to appreciate me, those are the people who actually really will only appreciate you if you give something to them. But the truth is, you just by being yourself are already giving enough. That in itself is the amazing thing. And then we have to ask ourselves, how do we get to a place where we actually feel good about it? Where we don't have this horrible feeling every single time we have to reject somebody, every single time we have to tell somebody, no, this is how I'm doing it. I'm not calling you. I'm not spending time with you. Yes, we had this great conversation. We had a great moment there, and now I move on. That was all it was for me. And without feeling like you've done something bad. See, there is no such thing as now we're being correct in relationships and now we're not being correct in relationships. It's always your own perception. So I always like to use extreme examples to make it clearer. So let's say you're in a physical or emotionally abusive relationship and you're always the one who tries to save the other one. So this is the typical codependent narcissistic relationship. INFJs, most of the time, if they fall into this negative pattern, they go towards the codependent side. So at that moment, you feel like, okay, it's my fault that they don't feel good about themselves. I should have just explained to them a little bit better that I didn't mean any harm. I didn't mean to overshadow them. I didn't mean to make them feel bad. So this typical gaslighting situation happens, and thankfully, we have become so much more aware of these patterns and these dynamics that we can take charge of it. But the point is, when you're in that relationship and you're in the middle of it, you don't feel like, oh, the other person is treating me bad. You feel like you are treating the other person bad, and it's your fault that the other person feels that bad. You should have just made yourself smaller, be more accommodating, helped out more. And that narcissist isn't going to come up to you and say, oh, you're right, I'm so sorry for my behavior. They will make you feel until the end of this whole thing that you did them wrong. And it will continue this way until you, as the codependent INFJ, decides that's it. I decide what is a new level that I'm comfortable with. Again, when you're in this old situation, that feels like your norm. And just stepping out of that relationship, doing something that is healthy for you, already feels like you're hurting somebody's feeling and you're thinking about them more than you think about yourself. So that's the first thing we have to understand. There's no right or wrong because nobody can tell you how you feel inside. Just know there are always levels to this, and we want to move towards a place where our new normal makes us feel healthy. It makes us feel more vibrant, but we can only feel this once we've already gone this step. So knowing this, what is it going to take? It's going to take pain. It's going to take pain within yourself, because at least once you have to reject the other person, at least once you have to set boundaries, and at that moment your normal is still in that old world. So what do you feel at that moment? You feel like, I'm being a bad friend, I'm being a bad partner, I'm being selfish, and I'm just throwing away people. What a disloyal person I am. That is something we have to do. Because remember, the abused person in that moment feels like me just being good to myself is already being really, really mean towards the other person. We have to understand it takes pain, but it's not something you have to continuously feel. That's the secret. You do it once, guess what? You feel better afterwards. You actually feel it in order to heal it. You can't move out of this toxic mindset unless you're once at least willing to confront those negative emotions in you. Part of you believes you don't have the right to do that, and you have to actually embrace that. You have to feel the pain. You have to feel this motion of, okay, I'm going to get abandoned, and just sit with it. You heal it, you feel it, you heal it. And then if the same situation happens to you, you're not going to feel guilty anymore. You're going to ask yourself, how was I feeling guilty before? Because now I actually learned that I can live with this fear of abandonment. I confronted myself with it. I felt it. I let it go, and now it can't hurt me anymore. There are always levels to this. It's not like once and it's done, but it's definitely worth taking on. Guys, you got this. Make sure that if you keep your distance, you do it in a healthy way, in a way of saying, if you want to be in my world, you have to act in such a way that makes me feel good. If that is in alignment with what makes you you feel good, great, but I'm not going to accommodate that. You just have to decide, do you want to be in my world or not? That's for you to decide, but I am deciding for myself. I am choosing myself. That will change your life. That's the basis of an INFJ epic life, and I know you all got what it takes. Remember to download the free poster and sign up for the waiting list. I'm so excited about bootcamp. We're really growing, and it's like this amazing community, and yeah, we always continue to do everything together. So I'm so happy to have you all, like existing bootcamp members and the new ones, on board. You find all the information below. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the 10 reasons why the INFJ likes to be alone.